Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, I wanted to give a speech about the history of Christmas and how closely interwoven it is to the American history. I apologize, my speech today is a bit dry, but I think it's pertinent. So the holidays start with one person, and this is a picture of him when he was a boy, Santo Domingo Clausius. Santo Domingo, we actually don't know much about Santo Domingo. He was born in a land far, far away, but we don't know when. What we do know about Santo Domingo was that his father died at a young age. Unfortunately, he died due to war, but Santo Domingo made a promise to himself and to the world. He promised to become the greatest warrior who's ever lived. So Santo Domingo traveled the entire land looking for a teacher. And he met a man by the name of Bernard Kenobi. And Bernard Kenobi was renowned for being good at the lightsaber. So he taught Santo Domingo how to use the lightsaber. Unfortunately, Bernard would later die, and their land was plunged into war. But this, not for the last time, Santo Domingo found himself in the eye of history. Santo Domingo would fight one of the most epic battles of all time. He versus the knight dressed in black. Santo Domingo would seize victory in this battle. The color of green against the color of red, and that is why the colors of Christmas are red and green. Epically, he would win this battle, and we would never forget those bright lightsabers clashing. And that is why we put lights up for Christmas. Santo Domingo realized that he needed to travel the world to learn more. So a group of his friends and allies got together. Nina, the warrior, Pinta, the businessman, of course, Santo Domingo, and Maria, the genius. They were known all over the world as Nina, Pinta, Santa, and Maria. They traveled all over the world, but they realized they needed to go to the New World. So they chartered a ship, a very famous ship called the Mayflower. And they sailed across the New World, across the seven seas, until they arrived at the New World. And when they got to the New World, their ship ran aground on Plymouth Rock. And when the ship hit Plymouth Rock, the four of them got out of the ship. And they looked and they saw that there was a sword embedded in Plymouth Rock itself. People knew that Santo Domingo was the strongest among them and could pull the sword, but he knew if he pulled that sword, his life would never be the same. So he asked Pinta to pull the sword from the stone. Pinta's first name was Arthur. Arthur then pulled the sword from the stone and became king of that land. And that is how we got the story of the sword and the stone. To commemorate this momentous moment, Arthur Pinta asked Santo Domingo to take the sword and be the first person to cut with it. So Santo Domingo took the sword with one mighty blow, cut down one evergreen. And that is why we cut down trees for Christmas. After this, people were so thankful that the New World and the Old World had come together peacefully. They threw a great feast, and that great feast is why we celebrate Thanksgiving near Christmas. Santo Domingo would travel the world all over, looking for ways to become a better warrior and looking to become a better man. In fact, he got such a reputation for becoming a good man and a giving man that they erected this particular statue just for him. Unfortunately, in the Civil War, this statue was destroyed. Unfortunately, but fortunately, actually, the world was outraged that this could happen to a symbol of such good. So one day, Santo Domingo, he gets a call on his cell phone, and it's France. France says, Santo Domingo, this is France. We heard about what happened to your statue. What can we do? And Santo Domingo does one of his patented pauses, and he answers the phone and he says, I do not care about the statue. Give me liberty or give me death. And that is how we got that saying. France was so enamored with the sentiment of Santo Domingo, the next day they built and shipped the Statue of Liberty to the United States. Unfortunately, due to customs, it was not allowed in the country. That is why the Statue of Liberty is not on the mainland. It's on its own island. Santo Domingo was so grateful for having received so much from the United States and France that he wanted to write a song to show how thankful he was. So he went to the local homeless shelter and he found 3 people and he taught them a song. You may have heard of it. It's called the Star Spangled Banner, and later became our nation's national anthem. Those 3 people that he taught would then go on to have their own careers in singing. But Santo Domingo didn't stop there because they were homeless. He wanted to give them something. So he sewed for each of them a blanket. And that blanket became our national flag. Santo Domingo did a lot of things. I don't have time to tell you everything he did, but he invented electricity, he invented the internet, he founded Google, and he developed the theory of relativity. But I don't think anything encapsulates Santo Domingo more than his interview with the president. The president stood there amongst thousands of people, and the president said, "Santo Domingo Clausius, you have done so much for us. What could we possibly do for you?" And Santo Domingo did one of his famous pauses. He looked at the president, and then he looked at the crowd, and he said, "Don't worry about it," and called me Santa Claus. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, that is the truth about Christmas.